time has come. October 7th, 2024. The day the world stood still on its axis. My most anticipated game. Not just of this year, but of my entire life. I have never been this hyped for a release. This game is infinitely more important to me than even Grand Theft Auto 6. 19 years ago, a legendary franchise among the anime game community was born. Known in America as Budokai Tenkaichi, known in Japan as Sparking. The end of the trilogy, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, or Sparking Meteor, is fondly remembered for its destructive combat, hefty amount of content, and its ludicrous, almost impossible roster size, even not counting the transformations. That was back in 2007, and ever since, die-hard Dragon Ball fans around the globe have been waiting to fill a void that Xenoverse wasn't built to occupy. I had only spent a considerable amount of time playing the first game of the original trilogy, but there's another part of the story that isn't talked about enough. Dragon Ball Raging Blast. These two games, while lighter on the roster size, kept the same spirit of the Budokai Tenkaichi games with their destructive, anime-faithful combat, but added depth and new options to the gameplay, and an all-time favorite art style, in my opinion. Some have waited 14 years, most have waited 17 years, but we were all waiting with bated breath for an absurdly long time. Some of us even lost hope that we would even get a revival of the series, until out of nowhere.
What the? Whoa! 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 Bro! Bro! Ain't no fucking way! Ain't no fucking way! Ain't no fucking way! Budokai Tenkaichi 4! Bro! I'm gonna pass out! I'm gonna pass out! Bro! Bro! Explain to me how you think you can just do that!
Nobody saw it coming. From then on, for over a year, I continued to trash talk among my friends and family about how we were gonna pack each other up. Helldivers 2 came, enjoyed the hell out of that. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree came, an immortal experience. But on the day of October 7th, 3 days early access, we were all in one party counting down the seconds to release. Built to Ass is now. This is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. While everybody else checked out the menus right quick, you know what I did almost immediately?
Hey, look, y'all know where I'm at right now? Man, I got a room started up, bruh. Yeah.
Made up a lobby. I ain't here to play around, I'm here to box. But after all this lofty expectation, could this game live up to the hype? Yes. Yes, it could. And it did that and then some. Sparking Zero outsold the pre-orders for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, sold 3 million copies 24 hours after release. With these numbers, no matter how you slice it, this game is not a flop. But it also isn't without its problems, as is any game. Whether or not these problems contributed to the massive subsequent drop in player count on Steam, I'll let you decide. But in this review, I'll discuss why, despite these issues, I think the game is still great. Not just good, but great. Why it raises the standards for modern gaming, and why I think this is a must-own. Because a slightly above average campaign, dry character customization options, exploitable rank system, and some cheesy mechanics are not enough to sour the outstanding graphics and art style, interesting sparking episodes, creative user interface, custom battles and tournament mode, fair progression system with different options, amount of content across all modes, namely the once again insane roster size, theme-fitting score, the complete absence of in-game real-world monetization, and most of all, the excellent combat system. I'm P34J. And this is my review of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero! Kamehameha!
You're still alive though. What? 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 You still had green. You still had green. You still had green. You still had a bit of green. No, nigga. No. No. Never in your life. Never in your life. That's a banger. What? I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Bruh, I'm going instant transmission. You gonna start auto dodging like I was shouting. You're fucking shitty. You're shitty.
I think the perfect place to start for this game is its presentation. This is where the love and attention the developers at Spike Chunsoft gave this game is immediately noticeable. Let's just start at the title screen. This gets me pumped every time. It's the best title screen in music since Xenoverse 2 for the Dragon Ball series. I did not expect for the epic horns and choir to hit this hard. It's like Elden Ring all over again. And you'll find much the same throughout the entire game. The opening theme song is the most epic I've heard since Raging Blast 2. There's a song in this game, Survivor, that's both a leitmotif of the intro and a homage to Sparky Meteor's theme song, Super Survivor. The composers didn't come to play. There are some songs that are basic and serviceable, but most of it is
Banger after banger after banger after banger.
The graphics are dazzling, from the menus to the character models to the cutscenes to the matches. I like how technology has allowed for fully cel-shaded aura, smoke, and blasts, making everything look like it came straight from the anime. It looks gorgeous from top to bottom. This game is definitely optimized well. And only 20 gigs! Again? Huh? Embark! Arrowhead! FromSoft! Did y'all put Spike Chunsoft on to something? Call of Duty! What the fuck? These are some of the most creative menus I've seen in gaming in a long time. You got Goku traveling to different places with characters giving dialogue in the background. This is top tier gas right here. Maximum effort at its finest. While navigating between the different menu sections can be a bit slow due to the transition animations, they're beautiful to look at, and the navigation ain't clunky. You got a simple list of actions and command options at the bottom. Easy to read, easy to get through for the most part. I've heard some criticism for this UI, but are y'all really gonna bash this creative simplicity when we got abominations like Call of Duty HQ? Call of Duty, what the fuck? The UI navigation sound effects harken back to the early 2000s. Just listen to this. Intros, signature moves, and transformations look fluid and are faithful to the anime. There are even special grab animations and ultimate win animations based off the Dragon Ball anime. The devs are definitely fans. The world destruction is on point, and if you do a blast at the world tournament, the crowd and announcers scurry out of the arena, allowing you to blow up different parts and fight through the hallways. You just cannot say they ain't put an extraordinary amount of effort to make this game what fans across the world have wanted all this time. While this fact is evident past the surface level itself is extremely detailed. The only mode that's lacking in the presentation department, I would say, is the campaign episode battle. This mode is definitely the worst offering throughout the entire game, and it's above average. A fairly good mode. To start off, the UI, just like the rest of the game, looks creative here, with the characters flying off and the detailed terrain pieces on the story map. But the story map, unlike most of the rest of the game, can be a bit clunky to navigate through. The story is a rehash of the Dragon Ball anime plot, which we've seen in most Dragon Ball games, this time divided among 8 characters, and certain important chunks for each character's story is missing, namely Vegeta's, whose story doesn't go past the Buu arc. Even with that, there are a good amount of battles, enough to run you like 10 to 20 hours. Problem here is that it can be a bit boring for a few reasons. First, the gameplay. I'll go into detail about the amazing combat system later, but if you're looking to finish your enemies quickly in the campaign, which you should because this is the only way to get most of the what if stories, the best strategy is to charge up to sparking, spam Violent Rush, and spam your ultimate. The AI is stupid enough to let you do it most of the time, which made most of the battles easy but lengthy, as I had to keep watching ult animations over and over throughout dozens of battles. That part was a major snooze fest. It was only particularly difficult, and in this case annoying, with Piccolo because the tracking on both his ults is utter trash. It's almost pointless to lower the difficulty because you can't get the alternate objectives that way, and the fights are easy via spam anyway. I mean, seriously, the whole community was crying about Grade 8 Vegeta, and I beat him in like 5 tries. Damn near beat him on the first.
You're dead. You're dead. Told you. Told you. Told you. He wasn't gonna take me no 5 hours.
Total focus tease the spirit.
This is who y'all was having a hard time with? Hey, get y'all mans up. Listen, let me break it down to you real quick. If it ain't that, it ain't hard.
It's over. I got him! I got him! I got him! I got him! Oh my god! Oh my god!
The narrative cutscenes and dialogue are so fragmented that players new to Dragon Ball aren't going to understand what the hell is going on, making it hard to connect the plot in the same way you could do in stronger story-driven games like Halo 2, Mortal Kombat 1, God of War Ragnarok, etc. This mode was made for anime fans to simply relive the battles they know and love, which has been done to death over the years, but it's still decently executed. There is a lot of super coverage this time around, which hasn't been adapted very much into the games, so that's a plus. Now, the biggest criticism I've seen for episode battle is the lack of cutscenes. This mode has a lot of still images, and I feel it's a valid criticism to call this out. They didn't even fully animate Goku's Super Saiyan transformation against Frieza, which is a shocker considering they did fully animate Jiren's elimination from the Tournament of Power. Even with all these flaws, the campaign is still above average, like a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. First off, the still images don't bother me as much because there are still a decent chunk of fully animated scenes, and if I were looking for a completely animated rehash of the Dragon Ball story, I could just go play Kakarot. I mean, they do slightly work as a visual art style choice. Animation would be better, but with everything else this game offers, I can't complain much. Yes, you can and should alt spam enemies to death to get the what if stories, but if you fight favoring melee combat, the AI can offer a decent to difficult challenge, which raises the gameplay closer to the fun level of and trains you for the multiplayer battles. Lastly, the what ifs from a fan perspective are cold, certified gas. Depending on your performance and choices, the story can either go the canon course, veer off and get back on track, or branch off in some crazy ways. Goku can survive the Raditz attack and either team up with the Z Warriors to beat the Saiyans or transform into a Super Saiyan against Grade 8 Vegeta. You can get Trunks into the Tournament of Power. You can fight a Gohan Black. Man, the devs had imagination. It's like playing through a fanfic. These drift-offs end in these fully animated cutscenes called sparking episodes, which show alternate conclusions to thrilling battles, and they look amazing. You can even switch to the first-person mode during cutscenes, which is a neat little addition. Add to this the good amount of battles, and you've got a pretty good campaign in episode battle. Even though the presentation is lacking with the still images, the narrative is fragmented, and the computer isn't the smartest, Spike Chunsoft still put a ton of effort in this mode, and it shows.
There's a lot to enjoy here. It could be better, but I've played a lot worse.
If episode battle is the lowest that Sparking Zero has to offer, you know the rest of the game is peak. There are a few disappointing aspects I will get to later, but none of my criticisms are strong enough to sour the total offering in my opinion. Sparking Zero is chunky on content to say the least, and I feel that it and games like it are setting a new standard for mainstream gaming. Of course, the main mode everyone cares about is the multiplayer. Local multiplayer doesn't have DP and can only be done in the hyperbolic time chamber, but if that's the only major concession Spike Chunsoft had to make in order to get the rest of what we have, I will gladly and humbly take that. As for online, we have single battle, which is my personal favorite, where you can just duke it out mano-y-mano to see who the better man is. And you have team battle, where you can choose your dream team to wreak havoc with. And then there's DP battle, which assigns a destruction point value to each character and allows you to build a team with a total of 15 points, effectively balancing a game that was made to be unbalanced. I love this system because it doesn't allow for the over-reliance of cheese, still encourages action-filled battles, and it makes all characters viable and valid.
I will say though, on the side, I am more of a 1v1 guy. You know, it's just kind of my thing. You know, I'm just here to box, you know.
There's public matches where you can join lobbies or create them, making them public or private with up to 6 slots. There's also a ranked mode for single and DP battles. The problem with single battles is that it's not beholden to a DP requirement, meaning cowards can just abuse level 9 and 10 characters up to Z rank.
It's over now.
As I'm beating your ass, they let you do the ult. I literally had 0 frames to dodge that ult. 0, it went straight to the cutscene.
Now we're talking. It's
Yeah, that, I ain't gonna lie, if I'd have lost that, that would have been the corniest win I've ever seen in this game. Bro, what? He did it again! He did it again! What is this? Oh my god! Oh my god! This This nigga, how did this nigga even go sparking 3 times in a row? How do you even do that? He just pulled the corniest shit I can ever. Oh my god. I was beating his ass the whole time.
I don't blame that on the devs, as this game is supposed to be unchecked on power. It needs to be unbalanced. I blame that on the weaklings that resort to such OP characters religiously because they don't have the talent, the courage, or the balls to actually get good at the game. I know I sound toxic in this case, but I'm gonna be toxic in this case. Y'all fucking suck, you shitty ass niggas.
Bruh, what I just did to this Broly nigga, bruh, I just subbed his ultimate in front of his face while I was hitting him.
If all you use in single battle is Beerus, Whis, Vegito, blast spamming to sparking with legendary Super Saiyan Broly, running like an absolute coward with Android 19 and Android 20 like they was doing in that tournament, and then going to Twitter and crying about it, yeah, y'all deserve to get kicked. I'm gonna just throw that in there. Or most notably, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Lame! You're a certified lame. What rank are you? Bro, you suck! Get that up out of there, bro. Yeah, you're garbage. You don't even know how to play the game.
I need you to delete the game right after the rage quitters, which is the other major problem. There isn't a strong enough ban penalty for rage quitting. There's no rank penalty, and the victor gets no rank points. So if you just spirit bomb your opponent and the cutscene hasn't finished, they can quit and screw you on points.
Got a little something for you. This is everyone's power, the spirit.
Oh, you lame! Oh, he just rage quit! He just rage quit! You wasn't even gonna get hit! You wasn't even gonna get hit! He just robbed me of points!
That's bogus. Change that shit immediately. Spike, please. I can't really judge the internet infrastructure of the game because my entire PS5 has been lagging on my new internet, but it seemed solid when the game first dropped in early access, right before I made the switch. There's also a tournament mode with a rather robust amount of options, like time, health, ring out, DP level, and flight. Of course, you can choose presets like the World Martial Arts Tournament, the Cell games, the Tournament of Power, or even the Yamcha games. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to whoop ass in this game, to say the least. Besides fun factor, what will you be fighting for? A sizable pool of unlockables within a layered old school progression system. What's in the pool? Let's start with the most apparent. 180 characters is absolutely absurd, and if you take out the transformations in different versions, 80 characters is still absolutely absurd. Teen Goku is the only OG Dragon Ball character, but there are a host of characters from Z, Super, and GT, with more to come over time. I was mainly concerned with one of the most vital characters in the history of Dragon Ball, a man that changed the trajectory of the series and single-handedly put it on the map for mainstream success. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Frieza Force Soldier. This man is just as pivotal to Dragon Ball as District 8 Hospital Helper was to the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. He carries. The series just cannot function without this man. How does Lord Frieza carry out his orders without the hard work of his loyal subjects? Jokes aside, this roster is loaded. Lack of Dragon Ball representation aside, really the only character missing here is Super Android 17. All the main movie villains from Z made it. Yes, I mean all of them. Nobody cares about this shitbag.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I am going to throw my shit at you.
From fodder like Kui, Raditz, the Cybermen, and Cell Jr. to absolute beasts like Teen Gohan, Jiren, both versions of Broly, Future Trunks, Zamasu, Baby, Omega Shenron, and of course, Vegeta and Goku. Practically anybody you could want is in this game, with all types of forms. They even got Daima Goku in there, and Mini Vegeta and Glorio are on the way, along with Gamma 1 and 2 from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I'm holding out hope to see manga characters, but I don't expect that. I am more than satisfied with what we got. Even past characters, there are a boatload of outfits, background music, character items, AI training strategies, and emotes to earn. Lacking in content, this game is not. Approaching the release, I was a bit worried about how the progression system would be implemented, as we do live in the shitty live service get your game shut down era. But this game's monetization is done pretty well.
You want to know what they charge you for?
Nothing! The game, the special editions, the anime music pack, and future DLC. Other than that, you do not get charged for anything in-game for real-world money. There is absolutely no monetization throughout the entire game. I am shocked. A Dragon Ball game? In this era? Huh? How? How did they do this? How did they get this greenlit? And the game sold like hotcakes, so it didn't flop. They got the money to support it. Man. 2K, Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty. What the fuck? Y'all gotta step y'all game up, man. This is the new standard right here. Let's make it that way, y'all. The progression system ain't tedious either. You earn Zenny with damn near everything you do on the game. You can earn 3 different sets of Dragon Balls. The Mecha and Dragon Balls are rare though. And episode battles unlike stuff. There are even challenges to complete from Zeno and Whis. And they're all so easy to complete that I haven't paid any attention to what the requirements are. They just keep giving me shit. It took me about 100 hours to unlock all the characters, but that's because there are a lot of characters and a lot of unlockables in general. This game sets an absurdly high standard for what consumers should expect out of companies, publishers more so than developers, in terms of content. How Halo Infinite launched versus how Sparking Zero launched is night and day. Let's stick to the day, y'all. So how does Sparking Zero satisfy your creative juices? With a decent amount of customization. Not Xenoverse 2 levels, no created characters, but that ain't what I came here for. I came here to box with a large roster. Everything else feature-wise is secondary. But you can customize your character with items, outfits, sparking music, emotes, and a few accessories. The accessories are extremely limited, but that's okay. There's a whole lot more to enjoy. Items can make characters absolutely busted. I haven't used them, but from what I've seen in the shop and what I fought against, they're busted. You can customize your player card with names, titles, pics, backgrounds, and your favorite song in the game, while checking some stats on your playthrough. But the biggest form of customization in this game? User-generated content. The custom battles. I checked this out once, and there was a slew of options here. You can choose who fights, what order they fight in, a bunch of special conditions with different and branching outcomes, a multitude of shots and animations, you name it. They aren't voice acted and you can't type the exact dialogue you want, but this can be a creative puzzle of expression for fans of messages from the Souls games. There are thousands of options for dialogue, and while it can be tedious and clunky to navigate through them, even with the filters, players can tell stories using sentences with some funny syntax. Some of these stories can be very ignorant, to say the least. Other stories are just outright awesome. I played one where Vegeta was actually the one sent to Earth to destroy it, but grew up in it in Goku's stead. Goku actually invades with a squad of Saiyans to destroy the planet. That one was live. Custom battles showed that the devs went the extra mile to give players stuff to do in this game besides fight, and its load of customizable options are cherry-topped by character and name card customization to create an experience that players will surely keep returning to for years to come. Time for the main event, the number one thing I care about. Gameplay. Does it live up to the Budokai Tenkaichi and Raging Blast standards? Yes. Yes it does, and then some.
I'll give you a fight. No hard feelings.
I earned that. Them was hands. I earned that.
Those new to the series probably expected some generic button mashing slop from any other arena fighters. No! This game, much like Raging Blast 2, is technically sound. The intro tutorial gives new players the basics, and the detailed tutorial mode, framed as a training session between Piccolo, Gohan, and Goten, breaks down the plethora of offensive, defensive, and movement options in the game. They did both the tutorial and training modes justice, as there are all kinds of tools to help you out. It is astonishing how many things you have to keep in mind, reminiscent of what drew me to Apex Legends. Short dash, step in, sway, dragon dash, Z dash, vanishing, smash attacks, perfect smash, revenge counter, clashes, and so on, including the controversial super counter. I don't understand what the fuss is. Super counter is not broken in my opinion. It is undisputedly the hardest move to consistently execute in the entire game. Of course you should be able to execute it at any time, because it's so hard to do that you either got extremely lucky or you are extremely skilled and should be rewarded for that. Nerfing the super counter would be like nerfing the Wingman or R99. It's pointless because it's a skill-based tool. You only got like one frame to time it right, and I think it's completely valid as is currently implemented. There is a litany of counters in this game. As long as you have some ki, the only thing I see that can't be countered at any given time whatsoever is getting hit in the back while you're performing a blast. I guess you can count losing a beam clash as well. Sparking Zero is designed to give you the destructive power seen in previous entries, but speeds it up to be more faithful to the anime, while simultaneously implementing a bunch of mechanics and different facets of gameplay to make it into a big brain game. And that shit worked miracles. I almost feel like I'm playing 3D Brawlhalla. The movement mix-ups are nutty, and when combined with the combo system can lead to devastating damage and jaw-dropping gameplay. More traditional fighting game players might not appreciate having a hard counter to everything in a game, but for me, this just means I always have a chance on the losing side, and I have to stay on my toes on the winning side. There are some things that are absolutely busted, like After Image, specifically with Super Saiyan Vegito, and I've had enough of that. But even the busted techs don't guarantee you a dub on this game. If you're skilled enough, you can mop Jiren or Broly up with Master Roshi or Frieza Force Soldier. This game is a giant dash fest where you have to press multiple buttons in succession at the right time or die from failure. It's like if Doom Eternal was an arena fighter. The best way you can hope to accumulate damage is to soft lock your opponent and hit stun with Ki Blast and rush attacks, while following up on smash attacks, lift attacks, and throws that send your opponent flying or in a stunned state. I say soft lock because again, everything can be vanished or super countered. The revenge counter costing skill points is a good move because you can only get so many get out of jail free cards before you actually gotta show some skill. And by God, they brought blast deflection back. This was one of my most requested features. This is the mark of truly doing a nigga dirty. You are actively telling him he never stood a chance. The only two mechanics I wanted that are missing are the wall crash and raging soul combos. I would do a grand total of not 1, not 3, not 50, but 2 whole push-ups to get those mechanics in the next game. Gameplay-wise, Sparking Zero's fast, on your toes, overpowered but checked approach is more than what I could ever expect.
I gotta get the lore accurate in it before I die. I got smacked in the back just like the lore. That's comedy.
There are only a few nitpicky criticisms I have of the game. Yes, some stuff was unintentionally broken at launch, like Yajirobe's Sensu Bean has already been patched, and Mr. Satan's Present Bomb, but at least that shit is hilarious, right? And they can always fix this stuff in later patches. Character models can stick through each other during Sonic's Way. The UI for episode and custom battles can be a bit clunky to navigate through. The story is a bit lackluster, no crit penalties or award for the victor, mostly stuff I've already outlined. There's also a lack of maps from old games in the anime, but my biggest 2 criticisms are as follows. 1, there is a glitch for console players at least, mainly PlayStation, where your save data will just randomly Sudoku itself. This has happened to me not once, but twice. The first time, I only had like 30 hours and barely had anything unlocked, but the second time, I had passed 100 hours, fully completed the episode battle, and unlocked every character. I'm very deflated that this happened, but I don't know how widespread of an issue this is, so I choose not to let it affect my opinion on the game. But it hurt. Damn near didn't even want to do this review anymore, so it's worth mentioning. My biggest issue with the game, however, is gameplay related, and it's that the ability and transformation menus can pop up before your character has fully recovered from whatever previous action stopping you from using your stuff. So I just finished a combo, dash, smash attack, or throw, bring up the menu for my ultimate, but then continuously twitch in and out of perception because the game doesn't register that I'm holding R2 to do said alt. This has got to be the absolute biggest problem with the entire game, because it's not fair to lose matches just because the game doesn't want to function properly. Gameplay will always be the most important part of any game for me, and if something is negatively tinkering with the flow of the gameplay, it's always going to be my number one thing to break my immersion. There desperately needs to be a patch for this ASAP. It's almost as bad as desync from Halo Infinite. Hopefully, the fact that this bug is attached to a gameplay mechanic and not the netcode can make it easier to patch sooner rather than later. But again, none of these flaws can take away from an overall once-in-a-lifetime experience. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero had generational hype leading into it. Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was previously nothing more than a mod and a fever dream, a mythical creature that most fans thought would never exist. And then it happened. And it lives up to those lofty expectations and then some. An abundance of quality content, polish, and fan service throughout the entire game, creativity, easy navigation, amazing graphics, outstanding performance from the game's engine, and engaging, fast-paced, and destructive gameplay make this game a one-of-a-kind experience.
That was a good one. That was gangster. That was gangster on both sides. That was gangster on both sides. I can't. Yeah.
So you can calm down and stop working.
There is absolutely nothing like it on the market. Not even close. And with little storage space and no microtransactions. In 2024. Amazing. A few flaws here and there can't stop this juggernaut. A lackluster multiplayer couldn't stop Doom 2016 or Eternal from being peak. So a lackluster but effort-filled campaign can't drag down Sparking Zero.
To truly be a Super Saiyan, you've got to be pure of heart, awakened by fury. That's what I am. Your rage alone helped you reach the transformation, but you still lack what it takes to unlock its real power.
If you're taking your leave, you had better finish me off this time!
Oh, I'm not killing you. And no, it's not to make you feel any sense of shame.
What?
It's because I want to fight with you again someday. So the next time you feel ready, you can bet I'll be ready too.
Kakarot, you're a true Saiyan after all. Then the next time we cross paths, I'll be stronger. Strong enough to crush you once and for all!
And so Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan rematch comes to an end. Our hero looks on as his newfound rival takes his leave of planet Namek.
Not even getting my save reset twice can stop me from praising this game. The Game Awards nominees have all earned their place, but my personal game of the year, no, game of the century, even after playing Shadow of the Erdtree, is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like I said earlier, this was the most important video game to ever come out in my life, and it did not disappoint. I'm going to be on this game sporadically for years to come. I can't wait for the updates, I can't wait for the DLC, and I cannot wait for a sequel. I can only hope that Akira Toriyama finally understands the impact that his work had on Universe 7's planet Earth. Thank you, and may you rest in peace. There it is, folks. This game was more important to me than any other game that came out of my life. I've said like 3 times. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm hyped. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for giving me a chance as always. I've been very blessed this year to play Shadow of the Erdtree, Helldivers 2, and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm personally kind of salty that Sparking Zero didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, but I didn't expect it at the same time. It's my Game of the Year. I hope that it does win Fighting Game of the Year. But nonetheless, as always, thank you all for the support. My next task is a task that I have procrastinated on for an entire year. And now the procrastination is over. I'm done waiting. It's time!